Yo, yo. What is good? What is good, Gen Nation? How are you guys doing today? How's everyone doing out there? This is the GGEN Multiversal Podcast, Episode 8, Part 2, The Gaming Verse. My name is ScytheX, and if you missed us yesterday, yesterday was Part 1. It is on YouTube. It is on the podcast channels. Part 1 was all about the entertainment verse, as we call it. It's all about TVs and movies and, all the trailers that came out and stuff I was playing catch up on. This episode, this part of the episode is going to be all about gaming, because there was a lot of gaming news that came out as well, and it was just too much to do in one episode. So, without further ado, let's get into one of the greatest two-part events in all of podcasting. This is the Multiversal Podcast, and let's kick it off with we are, if you don't know, available on all podcast channels. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google, Odyssey, all the big heavy hitters. So just search for GGEN, you'll find us. We also have merch available. You can get One Shot, Spartacus, the Captain, ScytheX, Wade Pool, Zuplex City, as we call them. All our merch is available. The link will be in the description below if you are on YouTube, and on the podcast channels, and in the description of the episode. You can also do command merch in chat if you're watching live on Twitch. All merch goes directly back to the channel, helps support us continue to do what we do, and that's put out content for everybody. So we appreciate the support. Shout out to Matt Churn for dropping a beat for us today. This one is New Legends. The link to Churn Beats will be in the description as well. So with that out of the way, and that being said, like I said, this is the gaming verse. This is part 2. We're going to dive into gaming news. And there's quite a bit of it. We're also going to go over briefly the state of play and kind of our quick thoughts on it. If you missed it, I did do a reaction to the state of play that is on YouTube now, so you can go back and watch that, and you can kind of get my raw live reactions to everything announced. But we'll quickly go through it here today as well, and then we have a couple entertainment news, but it pertains to gaming. So I left it off the entertainment episode because it pertains to gaming, and we'll go over that here as well. So, and real quick, at the end of the episode, because this episode is later than I wanted it to be, we will be going over all the June releases that have come out and is coming out for this month. So that'll be towards the end. Enough of all that. Let's just dive in. First up, we have God of War. God of War is it was announced that this will be coming to Amazon Prime. It is a series. Sony is continuing their push to pump out live action adaptations of their exclusives. They're already working on The Last of Us series, which is going to be HBO, if I'm not mistaken. We already had the Uncharted movie, which, by the way, was pretty good. I had doubts, but the movie itself was actually pretty damn good. So I highly recommend you check it out. It's just a fun treasure hunt type of movie, action movie. Um, but yeah, God of War was announced and it is coming to Amazon Prime. So, with that being said, because it is an Amazon Prime show, we 1000% will be doing a watch party for God of War on live on Twitch if um well, we don't have a release date yet. But once we get the release date, we definitely will be doing a live watch party on Twitch for God of War. And if you guys have your accounts, your Amazon Prime accounts linked to your Twitch accounts, you will be able to join me and watch as well. We may even throw up a Discord party chat and we can kind of watch the episode together and discuss together live as well. Speaking of watch parties, at the end of this episode, we're going to cut the stream briefly, fire it back up, and do a watch party for episode 1 of The Boys. So stay tuned for that. That will be following this episode. So don't leave the channel. We're going to come right back and dive right into episode 1. I have yet to see anything from season 3 of The Boys, so I'm excited to finally dive into it. We're going to do watch parties for every episode, and this will kind of get you the feel of how God of War will be whenever this happens to come out. And we really plan on doing more watch parties in the future, so this is a nice kickoff to that. So stay tuned for that. Sticking with more adaptations coming to live action, we have, oh, by the way, this, I picked this picture specifically if you're watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Everyone is wanting Batista to play Kratos, and obviously you could see why. He has the body type for it. He's a damn good actor, I have to say, and I think he would honestly be perfect. It's hard to get somebody who can actually look the part with very minor CGI added and actually deliver a performance. So Batista would be a great choice, but I'm curious what their casting choices are or what their options are. So we'll have to see as more news breaks on that, because this was just announced. Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't think they were going to do this one, to be honest with you. It's a great game to have come to live action. It's going to be a ton of CGI. No bullshit. You're fighting machines all day. Aloy's fighting machines all day. This is going to be, one tribal hunter versus Transformers. Like, this is going to be a big show. Big show to try to put out there. And I'm super excited for it, because I think if they can really nail the CGI and how to fight the machines in live action, like basically like what they did in Transformers, essentially, um, this could be really fun to watch, because the story to this game is fantastic. It seems they're starting with Zero Dawn as this, the first story to tell in the series, which makes sense because the material's already written. It's basically there. They just got to, get the dialogue for all the characters and whatnot. But I'm just curious how they're gonna make it look. How it's just gonna, how they're gonna, and who's gonna play Aloy. That's the key. Who's gonna play Aloy? You could get the person who actually plays Aloy in the game. I don't believe it's her voice, but they use her looks. I think somebody else does the voice. The girl from Mythic Quest. the game tester from Mythic Quest. If you guys watch that, which is a great show, by the way, if you're into gaming, you're into Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you should totally check out Mythic Quest. I think it's an Apple Plus show. So if you could find some way to get that, highly recommend it. But she does the voice of Aloy. She does not do the looks of Aloy. So I don't know how the live action, the actress that Aloy's, based off of, how she is acting wise. But I'm curious who they would pick. I honestly, I couldn't even give you somebody off the top of my head to fit this role. I feel like they're gonna do something crazy and go like Hunger Games, Jennifer Lawrence, but I just don't see it look wise. But she could definitely handle the bow and be able to do the action scene. I think that could work, but you really got to nail the look of Aloy, and I'm not really sure who they can get to do that. But we're not done. Oh, by the way, Horizon Zero Dawn is not an Amazon Prime show. This is going to Netflix. So unfortunately, we cannot do a watch party for the show, which is a disappointment because I would love to do God of War and Horizon back to back watch parties live with everybody here. But you know, it's going to Netflix, which means we're gonna get an episode dump of all episodes, and we're just gonna binge watch and be done with it in a couple days. So I can't wait for this to come out. I'm a huge fan of this franchise, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. And I can't wait for more news and trailers to come from both God of War and Horizon. I'm super excited for these two projects. The next one is kind of surprising. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're coming out with a Gran Turismo movie. This is in development already. And essentially, I guess it's just going to be a racing movie. Ford versus Ferrari type of movie. Maybe I don't know. You don't really get too much of you don't really get too much dialogue. At least I mean, I haven't played a Gran Turismo in quite a few years. So, quite a few editions, I should say. But I don't know. I don't think they have much of a quote unquote story to them. More than like hey, this is your path of racing. You progress your class of cars. Like you go from C class, B class, A class, and you just work your way up, getting your different driver's license for each class or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know how they would do this in a movie. If you ever seen the movie Driven, it's an F1 racing movie. Or it might be called Driver. I don't remember. Exactly. It was a great movie. It was Sylvester Stallone and Burt Reynolds. It was a great racing movie about the Grand Prix F1 racing. If they do something similar with Gran Turismo, I could see maybe it working, but it's not. This isn't NASCAR. This is strictly real life cars. Like in the picture, you have a Mazda. You're racing Toyotas, Hondas, whatever. Like I don't know what direction they're gonna go with this movie because you handle so many different variety of cars, you know what I mean? So I really don't know what to make of this. I'll check it out. I would be more a fan of a movie rather than playing the game because I just can't get into Gran Turismo anymore. The driving simulator is just not for me. it doesn't mean it's a bad game because it's a beautiful game. It's just not for me. But I would watch the hell out of a movie. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't think they announced where the movie is going to drop. If it's going to be, theaters or straight to streaming. I didn't really see anything with that, but we're gonna have to see, I guess. Next up, so yeah, those were the entertainment announcements, but because it was strictly on live action adaptations, we did that here, and then we also had a state of play drop, and this was a pretty big state of play. It's not as good as people are making it out to be, but that's just me because I'm not excited. I don't get excited for remakes. Um, just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I don't get excited for remakes, and the state of play kicked off, and it was honestly very confusing because state of play kicked off with Resident Evil 4, but how they kicked it off was very much like it was going to be The Last of Us. It looked very much like The Last of Us. The music, the setting they were showing, rundown wooded areas and stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, is this a Last of Us update?" And then they gave us this Resident Evil 4 remake, which, not gonna lie, it looked awesome. And some people say Resident Evil 4 is the best one of the franchise. I would probably say 2 is my favorite. Um, I still have yet. Speaking of which, I still have yet to play Resident Evil 2 remake. But the thing with remakes is, I don't know, man. I just don't get excited for it. It's like, to me, it just seems like you're running out of ideas and you just want to capitalize on more. You just want to capitalize on more money with games you've already developed. Basically, like, I'm just not excited for that. Like when they announced the remake to Resident Evil 2, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Resident Evil 2 is probably my favorite one. It's kind of cool that they're doing it, and it looks up to date as far as graphic standards go and whatnot. But I'm not like super excited for it. I'd be more excited for a new IP or a new Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 9. Like, instead of doing 4, you released 8 already. Instead of, putting your resources into 4, put your resources into 9 and like pump out 9. You know what I mean? It was I don't know. We're just gonna remake all the Resident Evils, like, because Resident Evil 5 is gonna come soon. And then we're gonna have Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 7, and because 7 came out a couple years ago, they're just gonna remake it again for new gen, and then they're gonna somehow remake 8 again, even though it came out with new gen. They're gonna just remake it again. I don't know. We're just gonna continue it, and then we're gonna circle all the way back to 1 again. Like, I don't know. I may or may not check this out. Uh, I'm not crazy about Resident Evil anymore. Like, I used to be, a big fan of the series. Like I said, Resident Evil 2 is my favorite, but it started falling off for me around Resident Evil 5, and I just never really picked it back up. And I hear 7's good. I couldn't do it. I'm not interested. And I want to check out 8 cuz 8 seemed to be a blast from a lot of people from what I've heard. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. But yeah, I remember Resident Evil 4 being pretty solid, and this would be a cool game to check out when it's finally out. I don't think they announced when it's out yet. At least I don't remember. Let me see here. March of next year. They did release it. March 23rd of next year. And it's coming to all new gen. It's going to be on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. So that's pretty dope. They also showed us Resident Evil Village, the VR version. Resident Evil 8 in VR is probably going to be pretty creepy. You're going to be immersed in some creepy shit, man. I think that would be... I'm not crazy into VR. Like, when they showed a game, what was it? It was Horizon. So, going back, we'll get back to Resident Evil. They showed Horizon Call of the Mountain. They're doing a Horizon game in all VR. They didn't really say if you're Aloy or if you're a new character, but what brings me out of my immersion of a VR game is if I have to use my hands and all I see is the hands. There's no arm attached. It's just floaty hands, and it's like it just breaks the immersion for me. And that's what they did in Horizon. I didn't really like it. Although the game looked cool and the stuff you were doing seemed pretty cool, I would be focusing on my floaty hands and it would be bothering me too much. You don't really notice that in Resident Evil 8, which is good. It would keep me immersed in the action of what's going on. And it wouldn't like break my concentration, like, oh, look at these floaty hands. But it looked really cool. Resident Evil 8 in VR looked really cool. It looked creepy. There was a scene they showed where, the big lady, I don't know her name because I didn't play the game, it's like licking your hand, and I'm like, oh boy, I can already see the weirdos replaying this scene over and over again. But it definitely looked pretty cool for a VR game. But yeah, and like I already mentioned that they're coming out with Horizon VR, which also looked really good, but they didn't really give you much information on it. We also had The Walking Dead, which was also a VR. I'm kind of over The Walking Dead. I stopped watching the show. I'm just not into The Walking Dead anymore. I'm kind of over the whole zombie thing to begin with, and that's probably why I'm not really into Resident Evil anymore. We've been, bombarded with zombie stuff for a long time, and I'm just kind of over it. However, I still play Last of Us. It's probably one of, if not my favorite story games for PlayStation. That's a little different, I feel like. And the story is more interesting to me than what we're getting out of this stuff nowadays. But The Walking Dead is coming. That's coming late 2022. And that's on like pretty much all VR platforms. An interesting game that I didn't even know was coming out, and it's coming in August 2022, is Roller Drome. The art style is interesting, but if you haven't seen the trailer for this, I recommend you checking out Roller Drome. It's basically roller derby with guns. It's exactly roller derby with guns. You're in a roller rink arena, skating around with a weapon. It looked to be in third person, and you're flipping around. You're hitting jumps on your skates, flipping around, shooting your opponents, and it looked like a fun ass game, man. It looked entertaining. This type of game very much seems like a free PS Plus game when it launches, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I hope it does do that. because it looked fun, and I want to check it out and see what it's about. It's called Roller Drome. I highly recommend you check out that trailer because it's interesting. You're gonna look at it and be like, this is looking weird, and then you're like, oh, you could do all this. It really shocked me, so I was excited to see that. That was a nice little surprise. It's also coming to PC if you have a PC. They also showed a game called Eater Nights. I, it's very Persona inspired, and I'm not a fan of Persona. Like, I'm not trying to come home from work, pick up my controller, and go to school. And this very much seems like a game style similar to that. Um, I'm just, it wasn't for me. It didn't grab my attention, but it is coming in early 2023. So if you're into Persona and those that style of gaming, check out Eater Nights. Now this game, the Callisto Protocol, I thought it was another trailer for the Dead Space remake they're doing. And then it just started, the more I watch, I'm like, this isn't Dead Space. And it had the creepy feel of Dead Space, like the tone, even like some of the monsters. I was like, this kind of looks like Dead Space. Like, it's completely different though. It's not Dead Space, it's Callisto Protocol, and it looked very entertaining. It looked very much creepy like Dead Space was, but I'm totally down to check this game out. This was one of the highlights for me. I didn't even know this game was coming out, to be honest. And if I did, I don't remember. But that was a big plus. That was a big plus. We had they showed more gameplay for the game Stray. Stray is basically you're a stray cat and you're roaming around a city, and that's pretty much what they showed us in the trailer. There's no plot. They didn't give us a hint of any plot. Like, what's our objective? Are we just roaming an endless roam of a city, multiple cities? I don't know. You're just playing as a cat. I know my wife wants to get it so she could play as a cat. So, and this game is coming out July 19th, and it will be free with the PlayStation Plus. So if you have PlayStation Plus, you can get this game free when it drops immediately, which is pretty dope. So I don't have to buy it. I can download it, let wifey play it. I'll check it out myself because maybe it's fun. Who the hell knows? It's free to play. We'll be checking this out. Just realized the music was muted. Sorry about that. Now we got our background music back. Shout out to Matt Churn again for dropping the beat that I guess you guys couldn't hear. Moving on. Tunic is coming to PlayStation September 27th. This was, I believe, an Xbox exclusive for a while, and I guess their exclusivity ran out, and they made a port for a PlayStation. So if you had Game Pass or an Xbox, Game Pass on PC or an Xbox or whatever, you probably already played Tunic. And if you don't, well, you're going to get your chance in September. So Tunic is coming. They showed the trailer for that as well. There's a VR version of No Man's Sky coming. And that is strictly coming to the PlayStation VR 2. And they didn't really announce when VR 2 is coming out. But a No Man's Sky version is coming. And I don't know why this game needs to be VR. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I just it didn't do nothing for me. I don't know what the point of it being in VR is. Maybe the immersion of being in space, flying around space. but I can't see myself enjoying running around planets and discovering random creatures in my VR mask. I would just want to fly around space all day in the VR headset. But that's just me. They also mentioned that, you know, Spider-Man and Miles Morales is being remastered, or it was already remastered for PlayStation, but it is being remastered and built for PC. And Spider-Man is coming out August 12th of this year, and then Miles Morales will follow in October. So if you don't have a PlayStation and you have a gaming PC, these two games are 1000% highly recommended. Highly recommended. If you want an incredible Marvel story, play these two games. If you are a fan of Spider-Man in any way, play these games. These are the best version of a Spider-Man game we've ever had. It's fantastic. I can't say how much you guys need to play this if you haven't. If you have PlayStation and you haven't played it, you're handicapping yourself. Like, you're not gaming right. If you're a fan of Spider-Man and you have a PlayStation 5, there's zero reason why you haven't played these games. They are so good. Top tier level gaming. Not just being a Marvel fan, but just from a storytelling perspective. Top tier gaming. Graphics, mechanics, fantastic. Insomniac does a great job, and I cannot wait for them to announce. I mean, they announced Spider-Man 2, but I can't wait for like a full-blown trailer to see Spider-Man 2. And now that these PC ports are, you know, coming and they're going to be out of the way, I think we're finally going to start seeing more Spider-Man 2 marketing happen. And I cannot wait for that. We also need to see more from Wolverine, because they only really gave us a miniature tease on Insomniac's Wolverine, which is, if Insomniac's making it, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be, they're going to push the envelope with Wolverine. I have no doubts about it. So check out Spider-Man on PC if you got one. And they showed some other game called Season. They showed this before. I wasn't interested then. I really don't know what the game's about now. I'm still not interested. This is coming in the fall of 2022. And then they kind of close the state of play with Final Fantasy 16. And let me tell you, Final Fantasy 16 looked incredible. They actually showed us some gameplay. The cinematics were dope. The monsters were cool, like all the dragons and stuff they showed us. It was very medieval, if I remember correctly. It was super cool. I haven't gone back to a Final Fantasy game in a long time. I think the last Final Fantasy I played was, I want to say 13. Because 14 is their online. Let me tell you, if I cannot play Final Fantasy 14, because I used to no life Final Fantasy 11. Final Fantasy 11, I had that on my PS2 with the network card that they finally made, an attachment that you can put to the back of your PlayStation, so you can play SOCOM online, and Final Fantasy 11 online. I no life that game, bro. I couldn't stop playing it. I was like, it was like how people are with WoW. Like, you get on that game and then 13 hours goes by and you're like, what the hell happened? Oops, I was supposed to be at work. Like, I no life that friggin' game, and I had to stop. I had to stop it. And I played Final Fantasy 12 and 13. I don't think I actually finished 13, and I kind of just stopped playing Final Fantasy, and I definitely didn't go back to the online portion of Final Fantasy 14. And I haven't been back since then, so I kind of want to check out 15. But 16 looked incredible, and because it's kind of medieval themed, it's more enticing for me to check out. So I may dive back into this one, to be honest. But with that being said, that was all they showed, and it seemed like a lot, and it was a lot, I'm not gonna lie. None of them were really like heavy hitters. It was a lot of, you know, remakes. The heavy hitters were remakes. Can I forget this? Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6. You wouldn't have no idea this was a Street Fighter game until they showed Chun-Li. I'm so confused on the direction they're going. Is this an open world Street Fighter game? Is this going to be like Pokemon? You're just a random fighter going through the open world. Oh, I tripped in a bush and now I gotta fight Chun-Li. Like, Ryu, I choose you. Like, what is this game about? I don't know. The fighting looked cool though when it finally came to, you know, the Street Fighter classic, you know, fighting style game. They looked very bulky, too bulky to my liking, to be honest. But it looked pretty cool as far as like the fighting, and it was very they had like, I know the fighters have, you know, abilities like Guile, you know, Sonic Boom and all that shit, but they had like specials, and I don't remember playing a Street Fighter where they had specials. And these fighters very much had specials, like it was Marvel vs. Capcom. And I was like, oh. And if they do that in Street Fighter 5, feel free to let me know in the comments. I don't remember that being part of Street Fighter, and I was very surprised to see that. But I'm not a big Street Fighter fan, so maybe, you know, maybe it's something that's been there and I just haven't caught on to it. But I was surprised to see that in the trailer, and kind of surprised, very surprised to see like an open world style to whatever character you're playing. If that even is your character or just, you know, some random, I don't know. But as far as what the game looked like, it looked good. The fighters looked good, even though they were bulky. They looked good, and the fighting looked good, and that's what you need from a Street Fighter game. So, but outside of like Street Fighter, Final Fantasy 16, everything else were, you know, remakes and random indie stuff. Not indie as far as like the developers, but very much the games. Like, they were like indie style games, you know, like Roller Drome and stuff like that. I don't know. Oh, and Callisto was pretty cool. So I'd probably give the state of play a 6.5, 7 out of 10. It gave you a lot more than what I thought they would give you, but I wasn't blown away. So I think a 6.5, 7 out of 10 is a fair number. We still have zero idea when God of War is being released, and I would love to see another trailer with actual gameplay for God of War. So everyone was disappointed that we didn't get that, and me as well. So that was the state of play. Next up, we have Mafia. It was announced that Mafia 4 is currently in development, which is awesome news, because there was a chance that this game was going to just be canceled. This series, this IP was just going to be canceled altogether. And in fact, it's the complete opposite. Mafia 4 is in development, is being created, and I'm super excited for that. Mafia is one of my favorite open world games that probably that was ever made, to be honest. I'm big, like I said in entertainment when we're talking about Ray Liotta. I love mob movies, and Mafia really captures the essence of what you would feel during a mob movie in gaming, and being able to play these mobsters and, you know, joining the family and, you know, working your way up the ranks and stuff like that. It was the dialogue, the story, everything about Mafia 1 and 2 was fantastic. Even Mafia 3 was good. Mafia 3 is more out of the box. It wasn't, you know, a typical New York setting with the Italian mob. It was very much what's happening in Louisiana and New Orleans. So it was a different style. It was still a good game, but the thing with 3 was the world felt too big for what the game was, and the driving was extremely clunky. And to get from one spot all the way across the map to another spot, you had to drive this crappy car, clunky car. It was miserable to drive, and every new mission was completely the other end of the map. Like, it was just okay, you know, that part sucked. But once you got into the missions, it was fun, and like when you got to cutscenes, they were awesome. So I'm very excited for Mafia 4 to be coming, and I believe it's going back in time to the start of the Mafia, if I'm not mistaken. And they also announced that Mafia 5 is also already being planned out. So Mafia 4 and 5 are here. We went from possibly canceled, gone for good, Mafia 3 was the end of it, to now we're getting 4 and 5, boom, boom. So I'm super excited for that. More Mafia, the better. Keep sending it my way. I'm all about it. We also got a trailer for the new Sonic game and a combat gameplay trailer as well. Let me tell you, Sonic, the world in Sonic, this open world that they created for Sonic himself, the world itself, everything about it just looks fantastic. The world, everything looks fantastic. My only issue with what they showed us was the world seemed very empty, and that might have been on purpose, so we didn't see much yet. I feel like there's more that they want to show us with the game, but it seemed very empty. It looked great, but seemed empty. And when they showed us like the combat, Sonic, you know, kicking and all that stuff was a little, you know, clunky or whatever. It was a little wonky, but wasn't terrible. I want to see more, you know, hey, I gotta jump and spin roll attack you more often than like punching and kicking, because it's not really Sonic, you know, not that I remember him, you know. But I will say it looks amazing. It really looks amazing, and you could tell the new gen is just doing world's work, God's work on this world, I should say, because it just looks spectacular. So I'm excited to see more from Sonic, no question. Next up, we have, sticking with Sega, they announced that a new Sega Mini is coming. The Mega Drive 2, I believe. I thought I would be getting, you know, the Super Nintendo Mini the Nintendo Mini and all this thing. I never got any of them. and it's partly because I have a Switch and I can play a lot of these games on the Switch. So I didn't really need the minis. I also have the Sega Classic Ultimate Edition, or I forget the complete name of it, on PlayStation, where it's like 30 to 40 Sega games, including, you know, old school Sonic and whatnot, that I can play on PlayStation. So I don't know if this is something that I would be interested in. I would need to see all the games available, and I didn't get a chance to see that list yet. But Sega Genesis was a banger back in the day. So depending on the library of games you can have, I'd be interested. I could be interested. Now, I called this from the jump. When I was talking about Activision being bought by Microsoft and, you know, Bungie and you know, the Sony Microsoft battle that continues to go on between buying up developers like Hungry Hippos. I reported was the last episode maybe that Ubisoft was interested in possibly being bought out, and I heavily pushed and would love Sony to buy Ubisoft because they're one of my favorite developers. EA, and I called this in that episode, I believe, when I was talking about either Activision or Ubisoft, or it might have been in the same episode, I can't remember. I called that EA would also be looking to sell. They're seeing all these dollars being thrown around by these two companies, and they are going to be looking to sell this company and just bank that money and run. EA is a massive developer. They're a massive publisher. They have the rights to Star Wars games, you know, all the sports franchises, NHL, NFL. They used to have FIFA, but they're still going to be doing soccer in their own way, just without the FIFA branding. And NBA, they had NBA, which I think is coming back soon. It's a massive company, and this would be a major deal. I think this would be bigger than the Activision one. I think this truly would be bigger than Activision Blizzard. And they're looking to either merge or just be flat out bought out. And if Microsoft or Sony, I would hope Sony, because it would be crazy to have like an exclusive football game or something made by Sony. But it would be crazy if one of these two companies eventually buys out EA, because it's a large library of games and licensing that would go along with it. So look out for that in the future, because the wheels are turning and they're already looking for buyers. So I'm very curious what's going to happen to EA. Very curious. And sticking with EA, Madden 23, they announced that John Madden, RIP, is going to be on the cover. And it's the right move to make. Madden started this beast. It's been years from the start, from the jump. I think Madden started on NES, if I'm not mistaken. If it didn't, it was then it was Super Nintendo and Sega. Madden, It's been around forever. And Madden was the man. He was the guy behind it all. They use his voice. He commented on pretty much all the games until, you know, all the recent ones. As he got older, he kind of just walked away from it and just kept getting paid for them using his name. But with him passing, I thought it was a classy move for them to put Madden on the cover rather than an athlete. So cheers to them for that. And then June 8th. June 8th is a big day. Now, on part 1, I mentioned that Black Adam is releasing a trailer June 8th. And we will be doing a reaction to that. We're also going to be doing a reaction to the trailer of Modern Warfare 2. Now, I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I love Call of Duty stories. Don't at me. Their stories, yes, they're short, but their stories are so damn good, and nobody does shooting better than Call of Duty, in my opinion. The game, it's always the gunplay is always crispy, always quick, very reactive. I cannot wait to see what the next story is, if it's going to continue from Modern Warfare 1 where it left off, or if it's going to be, you know, a different story in a different area, a different character. But I'm very excited to see the trailer for Modern Warfare 2. And they're also going to be dropping, you know, in that trailer what Warzone 2 is going to look like. And I cannot wait. Warzone, when Warzone first dropped, it was Modern Warfare was made by Infinity Ward. And as you know, if you follow Call of Duty, it's a revolving door of developers that make this game yearly. And that's how they keep pumping these games out yearly. You have Infinity Ward do 1 year, then you have Treyarch, and I forget the third one. But you have like 3 different companies that just keep rotating in and out as they're developing these games. And the last few games, Cold War, you know, Cold War, the story was cool. Multiplayer was fun. It wasn't as good as Modern Warfare multiplayer, but it was still fun. But they butchered Warzone. I wasn't having fun in Warzone with the Cold War as much, with their weaponry and just the way they made their adjustments to the game. And then when Vanguard came out, yeah, we finally, after like 9 million years, we finally got a new map. And the map looks great, don't get me wrong. They just force these World War II weapons on you, and it's just enough of World War II, enough with these crappy weapons nobody cares about. I'm done with it. Like, it's hard to go back and play Warzone right now, because it's not as fun as what it was when it came out with Modern Warfare. Just being real with you, like, it's not as fun. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with me with that. And Infinity Ward is back in the driver's seat with Modern Warfare 2. They're not just updating Warzone. They're building Warzone 2 from the ground up. It's going to be a completely different engine, completely different, you know, map, back to Modern Warfare style weaponry. I cannot wait to see what they do with Warzone. And Infinity Ward is the developer to do this, because time and time again, when Call of Duty comes out and Infinity Ward is the one that creates it, it's usually the better franchise. Usually. You know, Black Ops with Treyarch, they have their moments. But for the most part, Infinity Ward is the team that gets the best form of Call of Duty out there. And I cannot wait to see the trailer for this on June 8th. So we'll be doing a reaction to this as well, because I'm extremely excited for this. Marvel Midnight Suns, they announced that this game is releasing in October of this year, and I feel like we have yet to see anything about it other than that weird little teaser trailer we got God knows how many months ago. And what they showed us from this game didn't look great, didn't particularly look good. So I'm very confused on what this game's gonna be about, what it's gonna really look like, what we're doing in it. Are we playing all these characters? Is this a giant co-op game? Or are we just, you know, one character and everyone else is like a support character to help you in whatever story we're doing or whatever? Like, what is this game? Can we get a trailer? Can we get something that explains all this? If it's out there, put it in the comments, because I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not really excited about it, even though the characters in it are, you know, cool characters or whatever, but I don't really know anything like about this. So I'm hoping we get to see more of what Midnight Suns is before this thing releases in October, because that'll come in a flash, and we still don't know what's going on with this game. Now this is a big one, and I probably should have did this when I was talking about EA, but they released a trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is going to be the Fallen Order not prequel, but sequel. And if you know me by now, Fallen Order is one of, if not my favorite Star Wars game ever made. I absolutely loved Fallen Order. The reveal, you know, the Darth Vader reveal at the end was one of, you know, the coolest Star Wars gaming moments I've had. It was just such a badass game. And the main character, Cal, who I'm hoping, and the rumor is we will see in a future Obi-Wan episode, I'm hoping, or in some maybe in Ahsoka. We're gonna see Cal at some point, I feel like, in one of the live action Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. And speaking of Fallen Order, the Inquisitors building, you know, their home base or whatever that they show in Obi-Wan came directly from Fallen Order. So Fallen Order is canon to the, you know, the timeline we're in. And I cannot wait for this game. I like, Fallen Order was fantastic, so the fact that we're getting Survivor, it just makes my mouth water. Like, I cannot wait for this game to drop. I cannot wait for this game to drop. Now that we actually know Vader exists, you know what I mean? And like, how much stronger is Cal now than when we had him in Fallen Order? And how many more battles are we going to have with Vader in this one? Vader wanted the holocron and we destroyed it. So how pissed off is Vader going to be? He's just going to be hunting us the whole game probably. And I'm all about that. It's basically going to be Obi-Wan. How he's hunting Obi-Wan for the whole show. That's going to be Fallen. That's going to be Jedi Survivor. Just survive Vader. That's it. But I cannot wait for this game. Now, because we're not getting E3, Jeff Keighley runs Summer Game Fest every year. He has been doing this for a couple years now, and he does a pretty good job, and he gets, you know, big players to really give them, you know, world premiere trailer, you know, releases and things like that. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna give us, because and this is coming in June 9th. So very soon. What is that, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. So we got a pretty big week coming ahead of us, because June 8th we have Black Adam trailer, we have Call of Duty trailer. June 9th we have Game Fest starting at 2 p.m. I'm not gonna watch it at 2 p.m. because I'm gonna watch it with all of you on live on Twitch and kind of react to it as we watch it. So that'll probably be, you know, in the evening or whatever. But I cannot wait to see what we're gonna get from this. It's gonna be, you know, a live showcase of just whatever announcement and games he has to offer that companies gave him. And he did say to keep your expectations in line. Like, don't be overhyped. And I don't like hearing that. But the reason he's saying that is there's not going to be a lot of new IPs or surprise. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some surprises here and there, but nothing that's like earth shattering. It's more of announcements of what we've seen already. Just, you know, updated announcements like, hey, if we got a teaser, you know, a year ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, whatever, well, now here's the gameplay trailer. You know, like, we're gonna get stuff like that. It's not gonna be like, yo, Horizon 3 is already coming. You know, we're not getting the Last of Us 3. I don't think we're getting the stuff like that. You know what I mean? Nothing that gigantic, like God of War. Like, I don't know. But he said, you know, keep your expectations in line. Keep them at bay. So I'll be checking it out. I'm excited to see what they drop. Because with what he's saying, you know, we're going to be, you know, announcing updates and showing trailers of stuff that was already announced. I mean, Spider-Man 2 was announced. Wolverine was announced. God of War, can we get a friggin' release date? Like, if you're showing me that, that's exciting enough. Like, I'm good. Just show me that stuff. I'm good. So we'll see. I'm excited. June 9th is that's gonna be a fun one. And with the Game Fest, it goes all the way to June 12th. But June 10th is a Netflix showcase. And you all heard that Netflix is getting into game streaming and stuff like that. So Netflix is having a showcase on June 10th, a part of the Summer Game Fest. And they're going to be displaying announcements for their new shows on Netflix, as well as their games. So I'm curious to see what they do there. That is going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'll probably watch that one, or maybe not. Maybe we could do that on Twitch as well. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, or how long it is and whatnot. But I'm curious to see what they announce, more specifically on the show side, not so much the gaming side. Although I'm curious what they're going to offer gaming wise. Game streams just in general don't run as well as they probably should. So, like, Google Stadia is a flop. That's all game streaming. You know, the Xbox Cloud, sure, but I rather, you know, have Game Pass and download the game and run it that way rather than cloud game it, because it's just gonna run better. So I don't know what Netflix is gonna offer that would really get me excited in the gaming world, but Netflix makes fantastic shows and movies. So I'm curious to see what they announce there, because that could be fun. And then it closes out with a major banger, and that is the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and that's coming June 12th. That'll also be at 1 p.m. That will definitely be a watch party for us. I'm not going to watch it at 1. I'll try to avoid all the spoilers on Twitter and everything. We will check this out together on June 12th on Twitch. And I want to know, Xbox always puts on a great show. If it's one thing I love about Xbox and that I wish PlayStation would get back to, is putting on a showcase. PlayStation, and this isn't an Xbox PlayStation like battle thing, like bullshit. What made E3 great was Xbox and PlayStation's showcase. Watching the Xbox showcase and then being like, oh man, tomorrow we have Sony. What are they going to do? You know, like, what are they going to show us? It was just like, oh my God, all these games are coming out. Both companies, like, and what was nice about it was the third party games. So if you had, you know, for instance, Xbox shows you a trailer of Assassin's Creed, let's say, and then Sony shows you another trailer of Assassin's Creed, but you're getting a different look at it from, you know, a different cutscene of a story or a different gameplay showcase. Like, it was just fun to watch, and that's why I miss old school E3. E3 was a Super Bowl of gaming announcements. Like, it was just such a great event, and I'm glad that Jeff Keighley's doing Summer Game Fest to kind of help fill that void. And I'm glad that Xbox actually takes it serious enough to attach their showcase to it, because they always put on a fantastic show with all their world premieres. Like, there's a ton of games in the pipeline for Xbox. Now we will say it's taking them forever to pump out games. Forever. They have all these developers, and we're what, 2 years into Xbox Series X, and their exclusive list is dog shit. They need to start showing us their games. They have all these developers. Give me a ridiculous trailer from Hellblade 2. Hellblade 1 was a fantastic game, and I'm pissed that it's not on PlayStation, because they bought Ninja Theory. However, I'm excited that I have a PlayStation, that I have a PC that gets Game Pass, and I'll be able to get Hellblade 2 on it. But like, give me a great Hellblade trailer. Give us a new God of War. Give us something new that's not your norm. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, cool. We can get like a Halo update. New God of War, a Forza. Give us something new. I want to see Hellblade 2. I want to see some new IPs in that are finally coming to light from these developers that Microsoft is scooping up. And they always put, like I said, they always put on a great show, and I'm super excited to see what they offer, because it's been quite a few years since their exclusive games have been dropping. Like, Halo was their number one. Forza Horizon 5, Halo, like God of War 6, I would imagine is going to get showcased here. There's going to be a surprise. Like, remember the announcement of Cyberpunk and Keanu Reeves walking on stage? Like, Xbox holds no punches. They go all out with their showcase. And I really wish PlayStation would get on board with that and jump back in, because state of plays suck, quite frankly. Nintendo Direct, like, they suck. I miss those showcases, and the fact that Phil Spencer still wants to do them, I tip my hat to him because they're just awesome. So that is coming June 12th, and I cannot wait. And we will most likely be doing that live together. I'll be at work because what day is June 12th? June 12th is a Sunday. We will be doing that live at 1 p.m. on Sunday. 100%. That seals it. So look out for that. Also, because it's Xbox Bethesda, we'll be probably getting, you know, I think they're doing BioShock remakes. We'll probably get a look into that and whatever else Bethesda is going to pump out. So this is going to be a big showcase, and I'm excited to see what Xbox does because let's be real. They need it to be dope. They need it to be good. And because I have a PC, pretty much everything they announce will be free to me when it drops. So show me everything and give me everything. I'm on board. So yeah, that's June 12th. Look out for that. And real quick, if you do have a PC, what is this bullshit? What just happened? Oh my god, hold on. My list is gone. My list. There's my list. Okay. So before I get to my list of all the releases coming in June, as we getting towards the end of the show, if you have a PC on your Epic launcher, Wolfenstein: The New Order is free to download. I highly recommend doing that. Wolfenstein's a great shooter. So if you're into first-person shooters, you should check out Wolfenstein on PC because it's free. Why the hell not? Now we're going to oh, I had a picture for a showcase. So now we're going to get into the list here, and I blew it up the best I could, so hopefully you could see it. Starting with June 1st, because we are, you know, delayed on this, so I apologize again, but it is what it is. These are all the June releases that are out or all are coming out. So we had a Steam early release, early access of Leap that came out June 1st on PC. We have the Big Con that released June 1st on Switch. We have Silt, and that looks to be on all platforms, and that came out on June 1st as well. We have Gigapocalypse, which I feel like I remember seeing a trailer for. That is on old gen, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. That's odd. That came out June 2nd. Card Shark, PC and Switch, June 2nd. We have The Last Clockwinder. It's on Quest 2 and Steam VR. That's June 2nd. We have Diablo Immortal. It's a mobile game and also on PC. That came out June 2nd. Spellforce 3 Reforced. That is all platforms besides PC and Switch. That came out June. That comes out June 7th. So that comes out tomorrow. So all this is now stuff that's coming. We have the Cycle Frontier on PC coming June 8th. We have Mad Shot, which is a Steam early access on PC. That is coming June 9th. We have Mario Strikers, Battle League Football. That's going to be interesting. That is coming on the Switch June 10th. That has a chance to be a fun game. I'm not going to lie. But you know, Mario sports games, they're hit or miss. We have The Quarry that is on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, June 10th. Not on the Switch, but is on new gen and old gen, PS and Xbox. We have Metal Max Xeno Reborn on PC, PS4, and Switch, June 10th. Skeleton Crew coming to PC on June 16th. We have Redout 2 on all platforms, including the Switch and old gen, June 16th. Starship Troopers Terran Command on PC, June 16th. We have a Fall Guys update, Ultimate Knockout. That is coming to Xbox One and Switch, June 21st. That is interesting. Why Xbox One and Switch only? Unless they just didn't list the other ones, which I don't know why, because Fall Guys is everywhere. We have Shadowrun Trilogy, Console Edition, on all platforms, June 21st. We have Wreckfest on Switch, June 21st. Rugnar. PC and Switch, June 23. Sonic Origins, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox, all platforms, Switch, June 23. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, that is coming to the Switch on June 24th. We have Capcom Fighting Collection on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, coming June 24th. Disgaea, I think that's how you pronounce it, Disgaea 6 Complete. That is coming PC, PS5, and PS4, June 28th. DNF Duel, PC, PS4, PS5, June 28th. Escape Academy coming to PC on June 28th. We have a Cuphead update, Cuphead The Delicious Last Course, on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, June 30th. Not sure why I wouldn't list the new gen, because you can pretty much download the old gen stuff on the new gen. But here we are, June 30th, Cuphead. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. I feel like every month there's a new can't even talk. Every month there's a new Monster Hunter coming. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on PC and Switch, June 30th. And we have Outriders World Slayer on all platforms besides the Switch, coming June 30th. Shout out to Pops, because June 30th is his birthday. So those are the releases of what's to come for this month. I'm gonna be real. June is the month of reveals, because that's when, E3, Summer Game Fest, blah 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 blah. It's a very heavy news month in gaming. Not so much releases for gaming, and this goes to July and August as well. I've said it before, the summer months is like the developers just take a break. And that's not really the case. The developers are actually busting their ass in the summer so the games can release in the fall. That's what's really happening here. But the gamers suffer in the summer months because nothing of, big value is coming out. What really comes out in the summer is your sports game. This is when, a lot of indie games release that you might not be familiar with. Your sports games, Madden, soccer, hockey, hockey and basketball generally come out close to when their season starts in October, but September stuff is September's the end of the summer, so it kind of squeezes in there. But you get what I'm saying. Like we're in the sports realm of gaming right now. Like we're entering that phase of the year for gaming. So we're gonna get a shit ton of news with everything coming out in the fall. We're gonna get a bunch of trailers and probably a major state of play from PlayStation over the summer to juice us up for the holiday season. We have this, Xbox showcase, which is going to juice us up for the holiday season. And, Summer Game Fest and all that stuff. It's just going to pump out trailers and, release dates and everything for what's to come in the fall and the holiday season and next year. But as far as the games that are actually coming out, we're hitting that lull in the gaming world. So it's unfortunate, but we always get a lot of news, so there'll still be plenty for us to talk about in future episodes. So don't fret, we're not going anywhere. The gaming verse lives on, and we're hitting a high with the news right now. We might hit a small little dip in the summer, and then it's just gonna be full blown gung ho all the way to Christmas. Like, it's gonna be a wild ride. So take a breather while you can, and get ready, because here's that thing again. Pop up. Get ready, because there's a lot coming in the fall, and we're gonna get to it. But don't expect the month of July to have a lot of bangers in it. August is not gonna have a lot of bangers in it. Maybe we get one, maybe we get two. I haven't looked. I'll leave that up for us to discover together on the show. But summer is never great for gaming releases, so don't be surprised if nothing major is dropping. But that is going to wrap up part 2 of episode 8. I appreciate everybody who's watching live, watching us on the playback on YouTube. I appreciate everybody listening to this podcast on the podcast channel. I apologize for not having these episodes out sooner. Part 1 is on YouTube and on the podcast channels. This is part 2. This will be on YouTube tomorrow, and it will hit the podcast channels tomorrow as well. So again, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching and listening to part 1, and listening to part 2. If you're watching on Twitch, hit that follow button, please. We also have a sub button now, so if you want to help support the channel, feel free to hit that sub button. We're gonna have emotes made and all that fun stuff coming soon, so please do so if you're feeling generous. Don't forget about our merch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. That doesn't cost you a dime. It helps us grow. We are on the road to 1,000. And shoot us a follow on all the podcast channels if you also consume our content on there as well. So again, Gen Nation, I appreciate you. One more time for Matt Chern, thank you for the beat. And this was the Multiversal Podcast, episode 8, part 2, the gaming verse. I don't have an end credit scene for you guys. I'm sorry. Gen Nation. Oh, by the way, don't go anywhere. The stream will turn off. Give me like 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. The stream will come back online. I'm going to walk my dog, sit back down, and we are going to watch episode 1 of The Boys. So don't go anywhere. If you're live on Twitch with me, if you're listening on YouTube and the podcast channel, love you guys. Appreciate the support. Keep on listening, keep on gaming, keep on watching, and let me know in the comments what you think of the state of play, what you want to see from the showcase, and stay tuned for those live streams of the showcases next week, or later on this week, I should say. And yeah, Gen Nation, we out.